Ever wondered why we have specialists? It's a tale that takes us back to the high seas, so let's rewind time and delve into the origins of specialization. Picture this: an era before the 20th century when people's perception of the world was as limited as a tiny slice of Earth, thought to be both flat and infinite. This concept, deeply ingrained in our minds, has kept us from seeing the bigger picture. Now, let's shift our focus to the original adventurers, the seafaring renegades, better known as the Great Pirates. Why great? Because these mavericks were beyond the reach of land laws, operating solely under the laws of nature, especially during the wildest of storms. These pirates weren't just battling the stormy seas. They were locked in a struggle for supremacy. And guess what? The victors weren't specialists. They were jacks of all trades, mastering everything from celestial navigation to the nuances of the economy. The more comprehensive their skills, the bigger and bolder their game plan, and the more they ruled the seas and everything beyond. But how did they manage to sleep with all these power moves? Well, they surrounded themselves with loyal yet not so bright crew members. The bright minds, the ones who could potentially challenge their power, were conveniently kept at bay. The pirates' power lay in their secrets, and that's why much about them remains shrouded in mystery. Fast forward to the emergence of genius inventors like Leonardo da Vinci, who worked for the Duke of Milan, creating defenses and tools. With the advent of zeros in mathematics, shipbuilding transitioned from an art to a science, and the age of ocean exploration took off. These genius inventors, the Da Vincis, evolved into captains, admirals and commanders. They weren't just designing ships anymore, they were pioneering whole industries. This marked the beginning of our mega-industrial world today. In a nutshell, the great pirates were the masterminds of a divide-and-conquer strategy. They knew that to maintain power, they had to keep the secrets of their knowledge from the masses. So the next time you meet a specialist, remember, their roots trace back to the high seas and the cunning strategies of the great pirates. Now let's shift our gaze to the genius minds of the time, like Leonardo da Vinci. This Renaissance man, known for his art, was also a master inventor. He was employed by the Duke of Milan, not just to paint, but to craft defenses and tools. The Duke recognized his genius and put it to work, and Leonardo didn't disappoint. And Leonardo wasn't the only one. Other military big shots also had their own genius inventors. Michelangelo, while best known for his sculptures and paintings, was also an engineer and architect. These men were not mere artists, but comprehensive thinkers, their minds spanning disciplines and fields. They were the Da Vincis of their time, captains of innovation, admirals of invention. But change was on the horizon. With the introduction of mathematical concepts, shipbuilding underwent a revolution. It was no longer an art but a science. Zero, the magic number, transformed the craft. Ships became more reliable, more durable and safer. And with these better ships, ocean exploration took off. The horizon expanded and the world became a little less flat. But these genius inventors weren't just designing better ships. They were changing the game entirely. They were creating industries. Leonardo didn't just make a better crossbow. He designed an entire system of defense for Milan. Michelangelo didn't just carve stone, he built fortifications. They were the architects of the industrial world, laying the foundation for the factories and production lines to come. And so, the age of the genius inventor was born. The pirates, those sea bosses, recognized this. They saw the potential in these bright minds and put them to work. They understood that control over these geniuses meant control over the future. And so they did what they did best. They took what they wanted. These genius minds were not just designing ships, they were creating industries. This was the beginning of the industrial world as we know it. The pirates, those cunning masters of the sea, had found a new treasure. And this treasure wasn't gold or jewels, but knowledge and innovation. They had discovered the power of genius. The pirates had a game plan: divide and conquer. This was the foundation of their playbook, a strategy that transcended the high seas and infiltrated the heartlands. They were more than just seafaring outlaws. They were strategic masterminds who knew the power of plurality. And so they invented navies, a force of sea warriors united under a single cause. But a navy, no matter how powerful, needed resources to sustain. So the pirates sought control of mines and forests, the lifeblood of their maritime endeavours. Their ships weren't just built, they were born from Earth's raw materials, a testament to the pirates' far-reaching influence. Their strategy didn't stop at resource control. They also understood the importance of local governance. They needed boots on the ground, strong figures to rule the lands in their stead. But here's the kicker. These weren't autonomous rulers. They were puppet kings, marionettes dancing to the pirates' whims. These kings, handpicked for their strength and influence, ruled under the illusion of power. Meanwhile, the pirates pulled the strings from the shadows, maintaining their control without the burden of direct rule. It was a clever ruse, a deception that allowed them to extend their reach without spreading themselves thin. But what about the brightest minds, the potential threats to their power? The pirates had a plan for them too. The kings would identify these bright minds, and the pirates would put them to work. Schools, royal tutorial joints funded by pirate-backed wealthy folk, and secret exploited religious groups were the breeding grounds for these intellects. Yet there was a twist. The concept of specialization, the idea of becoming an expert in a specific field, was a pirate invention. It was a subtle form of control, a way to keep the brightest minds focused on their chosen specialties and oblivious to the pirates' machinations. And so, the concept of specialization was born. It was a system designed to control, to maintain the status quo, and to keep the brightest minds under the pirates' sway. The pirates had a system in place to keep the brightest minds under their control, and thus the concept of specialization was born. But there's a dark side to specialization. It's a sly game, a masterstroke of manipulation that keeps the world turning in a predictable rhythm. Picture this. The experts, the specialists, they're the ones on the front line, working the gears of this colossal machine we call civilization. They feel superior. They're respected. They have status. But are they truly free? In reality, these specialists are serving a system designed by the original puppet masters, the great pirates. They're not just working. They're perpetuating a framework that was set in motion centuries ago. It's like a sophisticated dance, choreographed with precision, where every dancer knows their steps but not the entire routine. This, my friends, is the subtle art of control. Now let's take a step back and look at the birth of education. Schools, universities, institutions of higher learning, they all started as royal tutorials. The kings would identify the brightest minds in their kingdoms and hand them over to the pirates. These budding intellects were not just educated, they were molded, shaped and prepped to fit into the grand scheme of things. The pirates, cunning as they were, knew the power of knowledge. They knew that to control the world, they had to control the minds that could potentially challenge them. So they funded these royal tutorials, backed by wealthy patrons and religious groups with secrets of their own. They created an assembly line of intellectual workers, each a master in their own field, but none seeing the whole picture. But the genius of this plan lies in its disguise. Specialization was not seen as a form of slavery, it was seen as a mark of distinction. The more specialized you were, the more valuable you seemed. The king's kid, the prince, he got the comprehensive training, the big picture. But everyone else? They got a slice, a fragment of the truth, enough to make them feel important but not enough to see the puppet strings. While the world was stuck in a flat earth mindset, the pirates were enjoying global knowledge and pulling strings behind the scenes. The birth of intellectual specialization wasn't just an evolution, it was a carefully crafted master plan. And thus, the pirates continued their silent reign, hidden in plain sight. And so, the pirates remained the puppet masters, fooling the world into thinking that nation conquests were people's achievements. Ramping up from their sea conquests, the pirates' strategy of divide and conquer led to the birth of specialization. It's an evolution that has been shaping our world ever since. Just as puppet kings were placed in different lands to maintain control, the pirates began to place specialists in different fields. This was their genius. They realized that by dividing the workload into specialized tasks, they could conquer more territory, more knowledge, and more power. Imagine a world where everyone does everything. It's chaos. But the pirates, they saw the beauty in order. They saw how a shipbuilder who only builds ships can build better and faster ships. They saw how a navigator who only navigates can chart safer and quicker routes. And they saw how they could use this to their advantage. The pirate's strategy has left a profound impact on the world we live in today. Specialization has become the norm in every industry. Whether it's medicine, technology, or arts, we have specialists who dedicate their lives to mastering one specific area. The pirates may have used this strategy for control, but over time, it has proven to be a catalyst for progress and innovation. Yet the legacy of the pirates is not without its downsides. While specialization has led to advancements, it has also created a world where we rely heavily on experts. We have become so used to depending on specialists for every aspect of our lives that we often forget the importance of having a comprehensive understanding of the world around us. Yes, the pirates may have been the original puppet masters, but their influence has transcended time and space. Their strategy of divide and conquer not only shaped the world of the past, but continues to shape the world of the present. So next time you visit a specialist, remember the wild ride through history that led to their existence. The pirates may be long gone, but their legacy lives on in the world of specialization.